homeowners down there trying to make sure that that is good to be, but we always remind you all that those are in floodplains and that's probably what costs of time being, so that's always going to be somewhat of an issue. But then also give you those numbers so you can see that that product is also being used in the north side as well. So it really is more based on the funding source and not the location of the trail. That's what's driving. I guess I think we'll go ahead and go with Mr. Collins, and we may move around a little bit to make sure we're in on time. But Mike, would you give us a little
Ray, I'm sorry about those steps. We throw out figures from time to time in our development update. We wanted to throw out a little bit different perspective if we could compare those to Tarrant County. Obviously, population of 55,000 in a large growing county, and just to put that in perspective, out of the 107 that we issued, that was out of over 5,550 that were issued in Tarrant County. I saw something today. In Frisco alone, next year, they're predicting to do about 3,750 single-family permits. That's just crazy, crazy growth.
So can do it happen this summer.
Yes, absolutely. Average values, when you look at Tarrant County, you can see some growth in that value between 2009 and 2014, with Euless also showing an increase between that same period of time. Tarrant County average 2014, a little over 240, and Euless average 350, and that's of course for new construction. Those values are obviously coming from the builders that we have in our community. I apologize for those of you that saw these slides last night. That's who is building homes in our community. We wanted to show you a few up-close pictures. We talk about architectural design standards that y'all were adopting in the various ordinances that approved the planned developments. And as you can see on the exterior photo here, there's a lot of architectural design detail that's incorporated into these exterior elevations, which are obviously driving the increase in the prices that the builders can get for this. In these same planned development subdivisions that y'all have approved, you also address the interior architectural design standards. I think after Chaos-Nanian in Glade Parks in 2008, every single builder coming forward, including Bloomfield, had wanted to address within the PD the architectural design standards and interior finish out standards. And you can see the use of tile and stone and granite and molding and the custom cabinetry that's incorporated within there, that again is driving the increase in the prices that these home builders are getting per square foot for these new homes. All the design to bring in as much natural light as possible within these interiors. Steve and I were talking about this earlier. Before Chaos-Nanian brought forward their subdivision proposal out of Glade Parks, we had gone to several subdivisions in different parts of the Metroplex, including Trophy Club, to show you an example of the quality of their construction. The intent of the picture on the right is that's not lick and stick stone, that's hand mason stone that they're forming to construct that column and, for that matter, the exterior elevation. And Lennar, I think when you look back on the 2000s and early You're going to have a very pronounced architectural design that you're going to go, yep, that's when that was built. Anyway, not to belabor the point, they're just the exterior and interior finish out that y'all had wanted to see and approved as part of the plan development is actually being built. And we show this photo of the Lenore development. That this was based on a form-based code out at the Riverwalk, and one of the predominant design elements that is incorporated in there is that you're going to have street-lined trees and wider sidewalks. So throughout the development in the Riverwalk, you'll all have an integrated trail and sidewalk network that's all lined with trees. It's a good look. This is actually an updated photo from it's actually got windows in it now.
And the van's not there.
Yes. And Impression Homes will be a new builder to the community that will be constructing at South Main and Pipeline Road, the northeast corner there, a 25-lot subdivision. Before I get into Ferguson, I have just a couple of things that just kind of came to a head today. We had expected to get a proposal from the Dixie House today, and we did, but too late to get it over here. They were really impacted by the widening, and it's really going to impact the relationship of the fire lane to the front of the building and their ability to get parking in and do the kinds of things that you need to do to bring the people off of the service road. So we've got a proposal that we just got out that we sent to fire and police and engineering to evaluate. So the positive is that that's moving forward, and I would expect that at our update to you in March, we can tell you that they are either well underway or nearing completion or whatever the circumstances, but they're moving forward. Got an update from Tom Wynn today that you should see on the pylon signs on the service road at Glade Parks for the Chisholm Road, which is the main spine road going in. You should see iron starting to go up to form that sign on Thursday, and they've got excavation work beginning this week, and then depending on the weather, it appears that it's going to be dry. They'll be able to get to the foundation, get that poured, and we should see that iron for the Loving Trail sign here in the next week and a half to 2 weeks. So you're going to start seeing those pylon signs going up. Ferguson's, we wanted to have a discussion as part of the overall development update. What really set the stage for this briefing to you was a meeting that the mayor and the city manager's office had with Ferguson's, with some executives representing that company several weeks ago. They had a very detailed discussion about the efforts that the Ferguson company, through various locations in the Metroplex area, are actually consolidating many of their sales operations during different components that they get into at this Euless site, which has put a lot of very, very, very good pressure on this local Ferguson's to get some expansion underway as quickly as possible. They have indicated that they want to do a couple of things, and it's really on a fast track, and we're really trying to work in partnership with them to accommodate their needs as quickly as possible. You may recall, if you were to go out there 2 years ago, you would not have seen any activity on the west side of what was their original plant, which was the building on the north, and then the building that had the entrance off of South Pipeline. Well, they have since, over the last couple of years, acquired property to the west of their original location. And y'all might recall, when was that, Stephen, that the storage area, outdoor storage area, just within the last 18 months, have been approved and completed in this area right here. What they would propose to do to accommodate their expansion and to enable them to consolidate a couple of their other facilities at this Euless is they want to expand the warehouse of the existing building to the north by 30,000 square feet. We've got plans to do that under review. So that's the first thing that they want to do. And then the second thing that they want to do is in this area here, they would like to expand by constructing an additional 50,000 square feet. And
Mike, is that a retention pond or a detention pond in the middle there?
here,
Right there?
yeah, I don't think it's a formal detention that's used as part of their drainage. That may have just been as vacant, undeveloped property for many, many years. It may have just naturally developed that way. But obviously, when the outdoor storage area here had come in, they did their drainage area calculations, and it was approved for that to remain undeveloped. That new surface port accommodated the existing conditions in that area. So what the staff would intend to be bringing forward to planning and zoning and to the city council would be a planned development that would enable us to accommodate the growth that they want to construct at this Euless facility. And one of the aspects of that would be to use the PD as a vehicle to address some development standards that, similar to the industrial zoning that is in place currently, which enables the individual to come forward, and if they were to doll up the front facade, there would be some less percentage of masonry that would be required for that development. So in this manner, the portion of the existing building that they would plan to expand by that 30,000 square foot is an expansion of their warehouse. And it is not going to be viewed from public right-of-way, particularly with the growth of the vegetation that's on the north side of that outdoor storage area, and quite candidly with the docks and what they have associated with that warehouse expansion. They will tell you they simply don't need that. So they would like the opportunity to simply extend the existing masonry percentage for that warehouse. And then what that would do is to set the stage in the future, which we hope will be very, very soon, that they can bring forward a site plan for the 50,000 square foot expansion. That's the number that they're using. We don't know if that's actually going to be 48,000 or 52,000, but that's kind of the number that they're using for planning purposes, with an expectation that if the development standards were to be considered specific to this site, that they would bring forward in the future a site plan for that new expansion that would include masonry on the front elevation and what could be seen from the public right-of-way. And that would enable the corporation to make the investment in this facility that would accommodate their growth plans. Did I leave anything out in the schedule?
No, I mean, Ferguson's is just a very important commercial business to the city of Euless, and certainly we need them to continue to be successful, be able to expand, and we have mechanisms within our residential to deal with some of that. On the commercial side, you all have asked us to take a look at some of the requirements that just don't make sense, but through the other site development standards that he needed to address here, we think through this particular expansion, we should address it through the PD and allow them to do their expansion, and then we'll continue to work on just a handful of those now where our current standards, if you just did not do it, and some of it may end up being a little bit, to use one of Gary's favorite words, goofy, where you may have masonry and then some metal and then masonry again that can't be seen. And so we'll continue to look for an avenue to address those exceptions on the commercial side. We have that obviously on the residential side already. very consistent with what the industrial standards would require on that new building, and they do already allow some latitude if they do more on the front view that's visible from the street, and then the area that is not visible, they could have the option to use a different product. So we certainly would recommend that y'all approve and allow them to go forward with a plan development that would allow them to keep their business in Euless and do this expansion. So
I think one of the things that was surprising to all of us when we met with them, you think the plumbing supply, yeah, okay, so what do they sell, some pipes or whatever? They sell so much more, and they're involved in so much more than the simple plumbing. One of their biggest businesses is they sell high-end stoves and very high-end appliances. Not the kind you find at Lowe's or anywhere else, they're super high-end.
And they're wanting to move a lot of that from Arlington, or move where some of it is currently stored, and they also are in HVAC. I didn't realize that. They have a number of things, but anyway, it's been a great business for Euless, and we obviously want to see them continue to expand and bring that. But wanted to bring that to you, and it'll be going before the planning and zoning soon for their consideration, and see if anyone had any concerns or issues with that expansion. You have nothing further. Adam, I'm going to do what Gary also did. We're going to jump around a little bit to make sure that we don't run out of time here. On the agenda, I think we'll go ahead and cover a couple of agenda items, and Chief Rhodes, we'll try to get back to that after the break. And if we don't, you got anything in there that we're not